RealCatholicTV.com cordially invites you and your family on a week-long Catholic cruise around the Eastern Caribbean aboard the luxurious Norwegian Cruise Lines from January 9th to 16th. Guest speakers include RealCatholicTV.com's Michael Voris, as well as Marcus Grodi, Father Frank Pavone, Ray Garendi, and Janet Morana. Come enjoy the warm ocean breeze, the relaxation and the refreshment of body and soul, all aboard the awe-inspiring ocean liner, the Pearl. Come with us to the beautiful Eastern Caribbean. For details, go to CatholicTVCruise.com. That's CatholicTVCruise.com.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. Michael Voris here, filling in for Vic Faust. First up today, Obamacare is one more step closer to reality. Despite a groundswell of public opposition, Democrats in Congress are pressing ahead with a government takeover of the healthcare system. Dozens of polls have been taken over the past few weeks, and not one shows majority support for Obama's healthcare plan. There are currently 2 Senate versions and 3 House versions of the plan. What is largely happening right now is infighting among Democrats about how to marry these different versions together. But all 5 versions contain massive funding and mandates for abortion, contraception, and sterilization. The Diocese of Richmond, Virginia, which has vetted speakers for orthodoxy since Bishop Francis DiLorenzo was appointed bishop in 2004, has declined to allow Pax Christi to hold an event at a diocesan parish. Former Bishop of Richmond, Walter Sullivan, had been scheduled to speak at the event. He says, quote, "I think it's just a big disappointment that we couldn't be at one of our parishes," end quote, after the event was held at a different location. Bishop Sullivan, now 81, led the diocese from 1974 to 2003. Pax Christi has developed a reputation of being left-leaning and aligning themselves with other groups or individuals that are sometimes less than orthodox. Obama's Safe School Czar is concerned about the state of most of the schools in the country. Kevin Jennings, an open homosexual who aggressively promotes the homosexual agenda from his position of power from within the White House, says he has one big fear, and that is that heterosexuality is being promoted in the schools. In his words, quote, "Every time kids are told to read Romeo and Juliet or encouraged to go to the prom, heterosexuality is being promoted." Critics point out that heterosexuality doesn't need promoting, it's the natural default. Tune into today's Vortex, by the way, to learn some shocking and revealing information about Obama's main schoolman. Stay with us, we'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium. CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world. CatholicUnderground.com, the podcast about our Catholic faith and new media. And DFWCatholic.org, spreading the truth one city at a time.
An atheist scientist is claiming that the Shroud of Turin is a fraud because he has produced a striking copy using a very detailed method. The Italian scientist received his funding from a group of atheists and agnostics who believe the original shroud is a medieval fake. The scientist doesn't claim that his technique is the one that was used, only that it proves there could be another way. His method involves using a complicated pigment and then rubbing it on his own shroud. Other scientists, however, point out that the original shroud has been proven to not be made with a pigment or paint coloring. And finally today, people close to the ongoing investigation into women religious orders in the United States say it is unlikely that any of the orders is going to change, whatever the results of the investigation. Researchers very familiar with the 30-year problem of dissident nuns say the women religious orders, quote, have been uniformly anti-hierarchy, anti-clerical, anti-magisterium. They tend to push an eco-feminist new cosmology ideology over and against basic Christian beliefs. In fact, as recently as 2007 at a major conference, a Dominican nun said in her opening remarks that modern nuns were, quote, leaving behind institutional religion and moving beyond the church, even beyond Jesus, end quote. These women religious orders have seen their numbers plummet and their average age skyrocket into the 70s. Very few of them have any new younger members. I'm Michael Voris. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And also, please be sure and check out the Vortex today, where we talk about Obama's perverted pics to help him run the country. That's it for now. Thanks for tuning in. As always, please be sure and tell your friends about us. God bless you.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web. And RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.